Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment, and welcome back to the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. This is race number 24 of the 2025 season, coming to you tonight from Daytona. My name is Ron Mullins. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Jeremy Briggs. Allie Burrows is our producer for tonight's broadcast. Well, Jeremy, we're here at the greatest racetrack in the NASCAR world. I adore Daytona. It puts on some brilliant racing as well, so I have a feeling that we're in for another fantastic night of racing action here in the FNL world.
Good evening, Ron. Absolutely, this is the wild card of wild card races, especially right here at the cutoff race of the regular season. And man, I can't believe it. The regular season is going to come to an end right here. Who is going to punch their ticket into that playoff?
And speaking of those playoff standings, let's take a brief look at them right now. You can see Bryson Hixenball, the dominant driver up to this point of the season. 7 wins, including one a couple of races ago at Indianapolis. He held on to the top seed as it stands right now after 23 races. Adam Benefiel, the other multi-time winner from this season, slid with 4 wins. He's had a good run up to this point in this season and was able to grab his 4th. A couple of weeks ago at Iowa, the race after Hixenball grabbed his 7th. So those two really proving that they've been the dominant forces thus far here in 2025. Joseph McCorder, Austin Evie, Lucas Hoytsma, Daniel Lawala, and Charles Velasco Jr. and Cameron Stone all locked into the playoffs with wins earlier on in this season. Hunter Truex is the first driver in on points, and you can see him 133 above that cut line. Eric Wineland only 43 above it. Jim Schofield right behind in P11, 22 above. Kirk Mills, the first driver in as it stands right now, the last driver in, I should say, 12th on the playoff bubble there. 21 points over Mark Padgett, the first driver out. Tim Phillips, Kyle Amon, and Tanner Marty rounding out your top 16 in the points. As we get to the closing stages of this regular season here in the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series after tonight, only going to have 2 more races. Of course, Daytona here tonight, Portland coming up next week, and Gateway will be there for one of the races coming up here in the not too far off future to round off this season here. And speaking of this season, we had a pretty good race 2 weeks ago, where I was so used to saying last week. It was 2 weeks ago, right off the back of a 1-week break, where Blake Kluot was able to grab a win, his first win this season, won at Watkins Glen. A rather dominant performance from that driver, the number 40 machine. It was an up and down evening of racing action there at the Glen, and I'm not sure if he will be out there on the racetrack here this evening, but certainly a good performance. But Jeremy, certainly the pressure going to be intense as we get to the end of this regular season.
With it winding down, not done just yet tonight, these drivers are definitely going to be out there having their hands full. This league has been great to watch here each and every week, and they did a great job at Watkins Glen, putting on an awesome performance, and the super speedway here at Daytona. It's very hard to be 3 wide. We'll see how these drivers be aggressive that want to come from the back into the front.
Yeah, so let's see what the aggression level will be for tonight's race. It's going to be 100 laps as per usual, the full length of the Xfinity Series race, which is going on right now. You know, funnily enough, right before this broadcast started, I will own up to this and say that I was a little bit late compared to how I usually am in terms of getting into the booth. I was downstairs as a Philadelphian eating a cheesesteak, as you do, and watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series race that's going on in Daytona as we speak. And yeah, that's how my evening has gone off up to this point. But 100 laps of racing action, certainly going to be a good race getting to the end of this regular season, and the pressure going to be intense, the racing going to be action-packed as well. Just have to see how things are going to work out. There's the number 40 of Blake Kluot, so nice to see him returning after his opening win of this season last time out at Watkins Glen. But I think we're just about ready to get those starting grid graphics loaded up here. Break out the WD-40 again, slipping across your screen from right to left or left to right. I don't know. I have a slight amount of dyslexia. If you tune into a show with me, you can definitely tell. Larry McDonald going to start this race from the pole position in the number 80 car. Bryce Reiner set to join him on the front row, looking right behind. In row number 2 is going to be Bryson Hixenball, starting alongside Jonathan Delaney. Nice to see the usual top runner in the full-length Cup Challenge running in this race here tonight. Kyle Amon going to start this race in 5th alongside Adam Benefiel in 6th. Looking right behind in P7 and P8 will be Charles Velasquez Jr. starting this race in 7th, with Tyler W. Hunter starting in 8th. And then rounding at your top 10 will be Kevin Zosiak alongside Dave Hoytsma.
And just outside that top 10 and 11 starting positions, the number 91 of Raymond Root. In the 12th starting position, you got the number 10 of Ed Shearer Jr. 13th starting position, you got the 78 of Connor Cunningham. 14th starting position, you got the 47 of Jim Schofield. The 15th starting spot, you got the 57 of Cameron Stone. 16th starting spot, the 87 of Eric Wineland. 17th starting spot, got the 72 of Cody Warner. 18th starting spot, you got the 07 of Daniel Llewellyn. 19th starting spot, you got the 45 of Lars Chenoweth. And then the 20th spot, you got the 71 of Hunter Truel. I believe the 45 was given in a EOL, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. We do have some penalties to touch on before we grab the green flag in this race. But looking through the rest of the starting grid, we have Matthew Boston Wheeler starting this race in 21st alongside Joseph McWhorter, the Pocono winner from earlier on this season. Alongside will be Eddie Rose starting this race in 23rd. Alongside him will be Lucas Hoytsma. 25th will be Andrew Dyson. Kirk Mills, our Maconi Entertainment colleague, will line up right alongside. It will be Blake Clouat starting this race in P27 alongside Dustin Hall in the one machine in 28th. Noah Woods will start this race in 29th, and alongside him in the 30 car. Austin Evie will start this race in 31st. We're going through the rest of them. You can see them on your screen right now. You can see them. I've got more important issues on my mind. We do have to touch on the penalties that came out of the last round of the championship at Watkins Glen. We will have some drive-through penalties right at the start of this race. Joseph McWhorter will have to serve a drive-through in the number 78 car. Ralph Hutchinson in the 8 machine will have to do that as well, but I'm not sure if he's actually racing in tonight's event. Look at the race format. 100 laps, stage breaks coming at the end of lap number 30 and lap number 60. 17X is the incident cap as per usual. 4 sets allotted to these racers, including the ones that they start on, so 3 changes allotted to them. Hey, it's a Daytona race. Unless these racers decide to run around this track locking up the wheels, don't think they'll have to worry about that too much, but we're quick-paced, ready to get things up and rolling from the 24th race of this season as that pace car's down pit lane, and we are green flag racing here at Daytona. It's a good start, pretty even keel for all of our front row runners, all of our field trying to get up and rolling.
The field begins to build momentum here through turns 1 and 2, 2 by 2 for the first, I'd say, 15 rows. Everybody being calm so far, nobody going through just yet. Down the back stretch.
Head their way down the backstretch. Already some drivers squabbling up. That's a big line swap there. That right there, the number 10 car of Edward Scherer Jr. jumping down to the bottom of the racetrack. One car that I certainly want to keep eyes on is Daniel Llewellyn in the 07 car. He's already made his way up to P14 after starting this race a little bit farther behind. He hasn't really gotten too many good results thus far this season. Is locked into the playoffs though, and the reason why he's locked into the playoffs is because he started this season off all the way back on February the 14th. It was all the way back on Valentine's Day, where he's loving moving here at Daytona to lock himself into the playoffs right at the start of this season. So as much as that 07 car may not be one that we keep eyes on week in and week out, we're back here at Daytona. It's his bread and butter, and let's see if he'll be able to have a feast.
Definitely keep an eye on the 07. We'll see which line here develops for these drivers. Right now, it looks like the bottom line is the most organized, as top row's got quite the break behind the 3rd car in line. Looks like the 07 car right now is holding up that top.
Llewellyn there kind of stalling out. He was making up some spots, but ever since he jumped to that high side, looks like we're actually having a 3-car breakaway up in the front there. So rather interesting to see that on the high side. On the bottom, though, Bryce Reiner holding on to it right now over Larry McDonald in P2. Bryson Exenball rounds out your top 3 of that bottom lane. Again, waiting to see whether or not that top side will gain that momentum. Of course, very early on into a race like this, these racers just looking at a clean start. There's nothing more demoralizing at the start of a plate race. Doesn't matter whether it's trucks, Cup, Xfinity, or even ARCA for that matter, to have something like a big wreck take place in the very early stages of an event.
Top row beginning to get organized. You can really help carry that momentum through the turn. You do lose that, the shortest way around the track is on the bottom, but that top lane can carry so much momentum down the straightaways. If they can all stay locked together, they can definitely break away, but as you can see, the numbers are definitely on the bottom right now, as the bottom is definitely more organized.
And being brought up by our producer, Howie Burrows, letting us know and letting all of you viewers know as well that is so tonight here in the FLC world. I believe we'll be seeing that a little bit more in the full-length Cup Challenge coming up this weekend here on Maconi Entertainment. But already seeing that here in this Xfinity race is Daniel Wallen going to get chewed up and spat at. That right there was a pretty slick move from Hunter Truex to really get that move done to make a 3-wide hangoff through 3 and 4. That's already sketchy enough as is, but now Llewellyn in that 07 car looked like he had some pace early on, but or since then I think it's the power of the commentator Shanks as he's up against a wall as well, heading off through 1. Llewellyn in the wall. Definitely
Unfortunate events there. I don't know what's happened there, if he just got really tight once he got back in traffic, but try to regroup. Thankfully these carbon fiber bodies, as long as you don't hit the wall too hard, they bounce right back out. So hopefully no harm, no foul, just a little bit of scrape on the vinyl. Top line doing a great job though, hanging out there. Pretty much staying 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. 10 rows deep. Been side by side for this lead for the whole race now, as we're on lap number 6.
Technical laps away here in this event. A reminder, folks, stage break's going to come at the end of lap number 30 here for stage number 1, and these races looking to gain any sort of advantage that they can when it comes to those playoffs. Some of the racers that we see up at the front right now, though, not really competing for the playoffs. They're either part-timers or some racers, in the case of Bryce Reiner and Larry McDonald, who I don't believe I've seen thus far this season. I've been doing these broadcasts since one of the earlier races of the championship at Bristol back in April. So nice to see some new names come into the series, that or they just run the Daytona races. I'm going to look like an absolute fool to those who have been around the FLC world for many, many more moons than I have. But Bryce Reiner still holds on to the lead as it stands right now. Leading the high side, though, is Jonathan Delaney. And Delaney, rather interesting competitor here in the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. He has a win. I'm going to look through. Yeah, he does have a win. That coming at probably both geographically and otherwise as far removed from Daytona as you could possibly get. He won Sonoma earlier on this year.
From the road course to the high banks of Daytona. See if he can get another win. Right now, Bryce Reiner almost broke away from the field, just enough to be kind of on his own. Not sure if he wanted to maybe move to the top and try to pull a line, but not doing anything too crazy just yet, as it is early. I believe at one point I did see the 83 blink and disappear for just a split second, but so far so good. Wineland right behind him. Hopefully not have any issues with that. As the field's still 2 by 2. Big push at the top, trying to get around the front runners. Delaney trying to get around Reiner.
And we're now starting to see more and more of these racers squabble up. I do want to give a shout out, though, to Dave Hoytsma, slotted in P4 as it stands right now. Of course, it being a plate race, that P4 spot that he is in will swap-a-roo many, many times as I'm going on this small little spiel. But Hoytsma, the father of regular series runner Lucas Hoytsma, nice to see him out here on the racetrack. He makes his appearance occasionally, and nice to see him running in a pretty good spot. Started this race up in 10th and is now running solidly inside the top 5. So just wanted to reserve a quick little mention to Dave Hoytsma, the second car on that high side. That's a pretty big blink at there. That is not good at all for the 5 of Bryce Reiner for 2 reasons. 1, getting abducted by a UFO is not ideal here at Daytona. And number 2, if you're the 80 of Larry McDonald and the car you're pushing is blinking in out of existence, there's one word to describe your feelings, and it is terrified.
As Delaney got pushed out, he decided to go to the bottom. And that opened the door for Hoytsma that we were just talking about to take the lead that lap, I believe.
So we're now getting intense up at the front. These racers, it's starting to cut more and more shapes, just continuing on that game of leapfrog all throughout it. We'll let you know that it is Jonathan Delaney leading that bottom lane now, and Dave Hoytsma up on the top side. That 6th car of Jonathan Delaney really enjoying being the Pied Piper of this race. As much as clean air and no draft usually going to be a recipe for disaster, if you got a whole pack of cars pushing you, it's usually not going to be too bad.
The car behind you, just so much energy from all those cars lined up. It helps push that car in the forward, and you don't feel it as, like you said, you got that clean air, so you don't feel like you're going as fast because you just get so much downforce when you go into these turns and so much grip. It really helps you grip and rip that bottom. As you can see, Delaney making that move to the bottom, really helping that bottom line start to pull away just a little bit. We'll see if that 79 can get back to his outside with some help from his bumper, but Delaney getting a good push right now from the number 5.
Yeah, so the 5 and the 6 working together to tick the laps away and try and figure out who's going to win this first stage here tonight. Looking through the rest of the field, everybody is taking it easy. And what's been a rather clean start up to this point here in Daytona. These racers have been keeping it clean, they've been keeping it tidy, and haven't really been too terribly aggressive. I mean, they've been going for moves, don't get me wrong, but we haven't seen anybody go for something that you would only see in a video game where you're just trying to kill your competitors.
Driver's doing a good job right now staying organized. It's 30 laps for this first stage. We'll see if any drivers decide to do any type of pit strategy in this stage towards the end. Maybe flip it, try to get some track position. As you can see, everybody just kind of staying 2 by 2 by 2 throughout the field. Getting positions may become difficult, as everybody right now so tight, it's hard to get moving forward. So we'll see if anybody decides to flip the stage later. Remember, I would assume with the stage 2 laps to go, pit road should close, if I'm correct there. And so drivers have to make that decision with 3 laps to go in the stage.
Well, flashing our minds back to a little bit earlier on in this season at the second Atlanta race here on Maconi Entertainment. That was a rather fuel-save heavy race, and it was Austin Evie actually making his way into victory lane at the end of that race. So let's see how it's all going to work out here right now. These racers taking it easy, taking it calm, cool, and collected, and again, running easy. That is the best way I can describe this racing action as it stands right now. Only about 1 lap away from the halfway mark of this first stage, with Jonathan Delaney still leading that bottom line over the 5 of Bryce Reiner. Over the top, meanwhile, it's Dave Hoytsma being the Pied Piper of that top side there. We have seen some occasional 3-wide racing as a result, some drivers getting shuffled out pretty badly. One of those being Daniel Llewellyn, who's dropped down like a stone thrown into a pond as a result of all that. I will also say as well, Jeremy, looking like that top side really starting to lose out on that supportive numbers. There's the 07 of Llewellyn, second to last of the cars in the big pack as it stands right now. So shows you how quickly he got shuffled out. But getting back to the point I was mentioning, that top side really starting to lose that population.
Numbers beginning to dwindle. Not sure if maybe these drivers are trying to get to the bottom with maybe some type of fuel strategy, just trying to get down there, ride it, half throttle. We'll see how it works out.
Looking now at what I can best describe as Gilligan's Island for these racers. These are the 4 racers who had to come in for penalties. Not all of them were as a result of drama leaving last week's race at Watkins Glen. Anybody who has a outstanding penalty, I'm going to bring up the Formula 1 discussion here, very similar to the one that Valtteri Bottas will likely have to serve because he probably has one of those Cadillac seats in Formula 1 for next year. If you do have a penalty leaving one race and you don't serve it at the next week because you're not there, it'll come into effect at the very next race that you participate in. So I believe that is the situation that we're finding ourselves in right now, I'm looking through at some of the chat here about one of the other racers who may have been coming in to serve those penalties. It was Lars Chenoweth, who we see in that number 45 car, who did have a penalty outstanding from the last time he ran in this series, and has something of the sorts as well. We're getting as well from our producer. Thank you very much for the on the point information from the production truck. It was a driving through too many pit boxes penalty from the race at Auto Club. Now, for context, the race at Auto Club was right after the Dash for Cash, all the way back on June 13th. I think that was probably about 100 shows ago for me.
Yeah, definitely been a while since that driver was in this league. It's definitely having to earn that penalty. We got 36 cars right now on the lead lap. 36 drivers with an opportunity to still win this thing as the laps continue on. The calm before the storm here, Ron, is my perspective, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we will certainly see how things shake out for the rest of this first stage, and for the rest of the evening as well. You know, okay, yeah, we're racing to the end of the stage. That's just the first 30 laps of a 100-lap long race, so still plenty of time left to go. I don't know why I started talking in a very specific accent there. I get flashbacks to the race at Indy a couple of weeks ago where I started talking like Marvin the Martian midway through the show. I'm going to blow up the field.
Oh, we got action back here, 72 sideways.
Oh, that was the worst timing for me to mention that. A spinner heading off through 1 and 2, and that's going to bring out the first yellow of this race, and I have a feeling that's probably going to end up on socials as well. Right as I do my Marvin the Martian impression, talking about the field blowing up. The field blows up. Let's take a look at this here, Jeremy.
Oh, looks like the 72 of Coney Warner. I'm not sure what car that was right there behind him that made contact. I don't know if it was a bump gone wrong. You can see all the other cars behind him trying to check up. The 27 getting involved there. Just a couple bumps and bruises. Hopefully just something cosmetic there for that number 27 machine of Tim Phillips. Sounds like that's the 06 of Boston Wheeler. Spun him out. We'll see if there's any penalties from that, but it may have been a racing incident. We'll have to see what the call may be from race control here tonight.
Yeah, that may actually be a slightly sore subject there, Jeremy. I'm looking through. I don't believe race control is actually here at Daytona, because we're hearing that the race control showed up late. They're meant to be here, are they? It's a real question. I don't know why
I believe
I've suddenly slipped into my my nighttime radio host voice there, but no, not seeing race controls as it stands right now. Full context. Nope, as the camera just gets killed. It'll probably get killed a couple more times throughout the rest of tonight. But we do all these broadcasts from the Full Length Challenge Discord server, so we can see all the drivers in their own little chats throughout these races. And we can usually see race control in the booth. Don't see race control in the booth, so I have a feeling that penalty may go slightly unnoticed. That incident may go slightly unnoticed, at least until leaving this race and heading off to the next round of the championship.
We got cars coming down pit road. Looks like everybody's come down pit road so far. Maybe a couple have stayed out. It's like 3 cars potentially stayed out. Top 5.
So I think there were a couple of racers who decided to stay out. Mostly everybody, though, making that call to come down pit lane.
Oh, Cody Warner sideways on pit road.
Ooh. That's, yeah, they're already sideways out there on the racetrack. They're starting to be sideways on pit lane. This is going to give us a quick little dash to the end of this first stage here tonight on Maconi Entertainment for race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. Seeing a lot of stuff in the YouTube chat and seeing some fatherly support from Rick Kluot supporting, I believe, his son, Blake Kluot, as we see Cody Warner sideways there at pit lane. I would usually think they would ghost, but clearly that was not the case as the 42 getting knocked around there.
I see we did it a run.
Yeah, that was about as slick as 80 grit sandpaper there. Hearing as well, the cars do not ghost from the right. So that was something I was unaware of. Only in the left-hand lane do they ghost. So the more you know, we gotta play the graphic as well. The dun dun dun
I learned
dun.
something there too. Just like that. That was unfortunate though there for Cody Warner. Goes from bad to worse on pit road for him.
Yeah, that is a shame. I mean, that was not very fun as well. I've punted. I'm not sure if I caught that on time. I just saw I have punted someone to high heaven. I have punted someone to high heaven in pit lane thinking they were ghosted. Thank you, Howie. This has turned into a confessional.
Whoops. Let's see. So I believe the top 5 cars stayed out.
That they have Delaney, Schofield, Truel, Wineland, and Steve Benjamin all deciding to stay at there. What do you make of that call, Jeremy? I'm not necessarily I don't hate it. Honestly, I don't hate it.
We'll have to see how it plays out, but I feel like track position's been king here tonight. With as tight as it's been, 2 by 2, not many cars either not going aggressively 3 wide yet, or everybody just can't get out there and get organized enough. But top 5 cars stayed out. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, so let's see how it'll work out at the end of this stage. A reminder, folks, stage break going to come at the end of lap number 30 for the first stage tonight here on Maconi Entertainment. If you just so happen to be enjoying the racing action, how about you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. I have a lot of stuff to look forward to here on Maconi Entertainment. Have a lot of stuff to look forward to in 2026, but I think we'll touch on that a little bit later on in this show. For now, though, we look ahead not to the broadcast coming up here at Maconi Entertainment, in which there are a lot. Instead, we look ahead to this restart, and instead of looking into 2026, we look at the 6th car of Jonathan Delaney at the front of this field. Jim Schofield right behind in that 47 car, right alongside, comprising your front row. Is comprising a word? I don't believe it is. We're making up new words in the English language on tonight's broadcast here, but it's still going to be a good restart. A quick little dash to the end of stage number 1 here. We have some racers who have stayed out. Pretty much everybody else, though, has come down pit lane. We'll have to see whether or not the fuel may end up being a problem for these racers. Let's just find out as Delaney and Schofield gonna lead us back to green here in a few moments' time. That pace car makes a hard left turn to come back down pit lane, and here we go. The first restart of tonight, and it's gonna be Delaney and Schofield right up at the front. Delaney guns it. We are back up to racing here at Daytona, and Delaney wasting no time at all to try and pull a gap. And look at that, Eric Wineland in the 87 car deciding to swap sides behind.
Wineland trying to stay in the playoffs, get stage points here late in the run. See how aggressive these drivers get here later in this run was where these stage laps were winding right down lap 30, end of lap 30, excuse me, as this top line is getting a big push. A lot of drivers with some pretty, I wouldn't say heavy contact, but some big pushes trying to get it going.
Yeah, some big pushes. Some of these racers deciding to turn up the wick a little bit as we get to the end of this stage. Looking at them starting to get a little bit wiggly there. That's one thing that's always so unnerving with plate racing. You just see these racers behind trying to give the bumps, and a slightly misaligned bumper could send somebody flying, both literally and metaphorically speaking. It's Schofield still up at the front of the top lane. Jonathan Delaney right on the bottom. They're still leading as it stands at the present moment, swapping sides, swapping the lead and getting bumps from the cars right behind. Look at that. That's the right behind. You can see Dave Hoytsma still involved in that pack. Hunter Truel, the other rear gunner of your race leader of Delaney on the bottom lane, and looking to see if we're going to have a clean run through to the end of this first stage.
Did you just say a clean run to the end of the first stage?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to jinx it, aren't you?
But potentially.
Right, put out that bad voodoo right now. But right now up front, Jim Schofield's getting some big pushes from Dave Hoetzma. They're trying to take the possession of the race right now. Doing some great organization on the top row. Like you said, these pushes are so edgy. Oh, Hoytsma, left and right, just trying to make the contact with his bumper. Oh, the 67 up into the wall trying to file out here. That's Velasquez Jr.
And Charles Velasquez Jr., who won earlier on this season at Phoenix, trying to get a good run here at Daytona. Some smoke coming up in the air right behind. I think that was Dustin Hall in the one car with a pretty wacky ride coming through 3 and 4. 25 laps now left here in this race, and we're getting really intense as it stands presently. Jonathan Delaney continues to lead Jim Schufield on that high side. Right behind him is that number 79 machine of Dave Hoytsma. Eric Wineland right behind the 71 of Hunter Truex as it stands right now. Truex, the second car on that bottom lane. Larry McDonald, the top car who came down pit lane a little bit earlier on in this race, still running there close as well. Look at the deadlock though.
We got a wreck back here in the field.
Oh, and that we do. Multiple cars involved. I think that's a 46 of Eddie Rose in the midst of all of that as well. I think Dustin Hall in the one machine may have gotten a piece of that drama as well.
I think the 46 is where that wreck started. I'll have to get a replay here in just a second. Our great producer going through all things right now to make it happen. This happens so quick. In the back of the field, a lot of cars involved.
And we'll finally take a look at that replay hearing as well. That the replay button briefly froze. I think it was a 46. Yeah, you can see Eddie Rose at the epicenter of all that drama as he spun around like a top. More drivers piling. You can see the 68 having to take evasive action onto the infield. And let's take a look at this. You can see Cameron Stone, Adam Benefield, the one of Dustin Hall, and the other 73 of Joseph McWhorter at the epicenter of all that drama as well. Making it 3 wide there in the middle was McWhorter, and I don't think that worked out well at all. Contact being made. The 57 of Cameron Stone getting collected and all that, and the 46, nothing he really could have done there.
I had a feeling 3 wide was going to be slightly difficult at this track. It's a super speedway, but it's not like Talladega, where you have Talladega can go almost 4 wide pretty comfortably, and you can go 3 wide here, but you got to be very, very disciplined and just not giving enough room. Oh, looks like maybe just came up just a touch there is the result of that.
Yeah, I will say in the sauce, I feel like that was a recipe for disaster as they tried to make a 3 wide hang down the back straightaway. Brings out the second yellow of this race, still winding away the laps in this first stage here tonight on Maconi Entertainment for race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series here at Daytona International Speedway. And I wonder how many laps we're going to have left. Once we get this race up and rolling, Jeremy, it's not going to be a heck of a lot, really. It just probably, I would say, at most 3 or 4.
Because I think right here will be 3 laps to go in this stage. Roughly. So we'll have to see. Might be a 1-lap shootout.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we'll have a green-white checkered for this stage. I think we're just going to have a white, then checkered. I think that's how it's going to work here at the end of this stage. Lights still out on the pace cars, so won't be getting them re-racked and up and rolling this time by. I think it'll be at most 2 to go. Hearing that we're aiming for 29 laps into this race is when we'll get restarted, but I will wait until we see the lights out on that pace car. If we do get the lights out this time by, then we'll finally get it up and rolling.
Right on the edge. We'll see what happens. All eyes are on the pace car, and I was about to say that we go for a ride with the iRacing pace car. That's very ironic.
And you could see what I would say is probably the worst designed rear view mirror there in the world. It just looks like it's been painted gray. And you can't even see it there from the outside. You can see, the view of that fantastic driver behind the wheel of it, and looking at the lights on it. Are they off? Yes, they are off. So it's going to be at the end of this lap, start of the next one, 29 laps into this race is when we're going to have our second restart. Some drivers making their run out of the pits as it stands presently. And seen as well from the YouTube chat, asking if the street cars parked in the infield are touching. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, some of the strangest stuff that I've seen in my entire iRacing broadcasting career has been on the infield. I have a screenshot somewhere of a person just hovering on, I think it was one of the Formula 1600 broadcasts that Howie and I do here in Maconi.
I'm not sure when this happened, but the 87 Eric Weiland lost connection and is now back. I'm not sure if he's going to lose a lap here or not, but we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if he can get back here in the race before they go back green.
I just realized, actually, I apologize there. That was a terrible error from me. It was not on one of the Formula 1600 shows. It was a show on another network. We will not name that said network, but it was a network, and it was a late model race at North Wilkesboro. And there's a shot of what looks like a giant standing on the track. It's actually someone in the infield that was, for some reason, hovering about 20 feet above it. So I'm not really sure how that worked. I will say my producer on that show was also having some pretty severe internet issues on it. So and don't worry, it was not you, Howie. No worries. But
yeah, but I wasn't on. That's my show on Monday. That's my show on Monday.
So,
You're taking credit there.
Not touching that one. We're about to get this race up and rolling here as well. So it's going to be a quick little dash to the end of this first stage. Jonathan Delaney going to be leading us back to green here as we're back up and rolling at Daytona. It's Delaney and Schofield on your front row. Who's going to get off to a good one? It looks like Delaney up through the gears the quickest. It's a quick little dash to end off this stage.
And as standard, the pit road is now closed, so nobody can come down pit road at the end of the stage to try to flip it. So it looks like everybody right now is in the same boat. Those couple, I think it was the top 5 that were out last caution before this, stayed out. So Delaney, one of those drivers that's in the front right now and maximizing his effort. He's been up front for pretty much the whole night. And we'll see if he can win this stage as we're coming through turn 4 to get the stage white flag.
Yeah, the white flag going to be in the air here for stage number 1. Will it be Delaney on that bottom lane? Will it be Schofield on that high side? Or will it maybe be someone like Hunter Truex deciding to play scap and jump his way up into a spot? Hunter Truex, a driver who we definitely noted a little bit earlier on this season in the Dash for Cash races, was able to get 2 of those Dash for Cash wins. But ever since then, we haven't really seen too much of a spark from that number 71 car. He's running up at the front, though, as we get to the end of the stage, heading down the backstretch for the final time. Jonathan Delaney still the lead car on that bottom. Jim Schofield up on the top. He's getting that bump right behind from Dave Hoytsma, but it's a little bit misorganized, mismatched on that high side. Who's going to be able to pull out ahead as they head their way out of turn number 4 to the line here in this stage? Delaney and Schofield gonna squabble out, gonna deck it out, and it's gonna be at the line. The 6 of Delaney winning the stage. Right behind him will be Jim Schofield. Dave Hoytsma, they walked away with P3 at the end of that stage. What a finish, though. Photo finish. If that is a preview of the actual finish of this race, I have a feeling this is going to be a good one.
Wow. That was a finish for a stage right there. Yeah, got to replay this. Great organization. You know, a lot of these drivers understand, this is only one stage. We've got to get the lap 100 to win this thing officially, so let's kind of take the points that we can get and finish where we did. Look at this right here at the line.
And by a matter of inches, it's the 6 of Jonathan Delaney winning out here at the end of stage number 1 tonight on Maconi Entertainment for our coverage of race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. We'll get those results loaded up here. It was it was giving us a little tease there. It's back and back with a vengeance. 0.006 of a second, the gap at the line between Jonathan Delaney and Jim Schofield. That is close. That is super, super close. Dave Hoytsma going to finish right behind in third. Hunter Truehl finishes in fourth. Larry McDonald in fifth. Steve Benjamin in sixth. Kyle Amon in seventh. Bryce Reiner in eighth. Edward Scherer Jr. and Lucas Hoytsma rounding out your top 9 at the top 10, I should say, at the end of this stage. We'll be seeing some racers make that call to come down pit lane. Most of these racers being the ones that came in right towards the end of this stage. Actually, no. Looking through Delaney, he stayed at. That's Schofield, he stayed at. So I think everybody now coming in for their first pit stops, with some more racers coming in for some stops a little bit farther behind. Interesting call there, Jeremy.
Yeah, maybe these drivers maybe getting some of that damaged repairs. Had a couple incidents right there. I believe that might have been Wineland getting his lap back.
I think that may have potentially been it, but we still have a little bit of time left to go under this yellow. Gotta take a quick commercial break here on Maconi Entertainment, and we will be right back with what's probably going to be another rather hectic Stage 2 here tonight.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Our producer counted us down by half seconds there. That's a first. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment of race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. It's myself, Ron Mullins, and Jeremy Briggs with you on the call with Howie Burrows in the production truck. As we look ahead to this restart, we also look ahead to the 2026 season here in the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series world. If you pay attention to the NASCAR scene, you may have heard that a schedule was released for 2026, and of course we'll be able to bring you all of that coverage here on Maconi Entertainment as we look ahead: Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, Phoenix, and looking through at some of the other additions being made into. Of course, we're going to be running at Rockingham yet again, racking it up there. San Diego, not sure what that will be potentially replaced with, because we do not have that in the sim just yet. Of course, we'll be crowning a champion on November the 6th of 2026, and unfortunately here in 2025 we joined halfway through the season. I'll say halfway, it's about a third of the way through the season that we joined in, but you'll be able to cover all of the action. You'll be able to see all of the action here on Maconi Entertainment in 2026 for both the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series and the full-length Cup Challenge coming up tomorrow here on Maconi Entertainment. You'll be able to see the regular season finale, and that is going to be our old pal Kirk Mills and my old pal and my Friday colleague on a different network, Mr. Ewan O'Leary, on the call for that as well. Two very nice guys, some very different styles when it comes to commentary, and that's going to be a fantastic race to look forward to in about 24 hours' time here on Maconi Entertainment. But here for the restart at Daytona for this Xfinity race, it's Dave Hoytsma and Larry McDonald up on the front rows. We are back to racing one more time and getting up and rolling for stage number 2, Jeremy.
Let's see how this all pans out on stage number 2. Is the energy is gonna ramp up right here? You look at the number 6, who was our leader. He is deep in the field. Delaney all the way back in 16th. There's quite a little bit of a breakaway too here for this top group. Oh, so we're going 3 wide. There's that energy we're talking about. There's the urgency. Here we go.
Yeah, and Bryson Hicksonball leading Cameron Stone on that top side charge. Will anybody try and follow your dominant driver up to this point in the season? Hicksonball with 7 wins, looking to make it an 8th here at Daytona, as he's still on that high side, trying to get the momentum with those bottom 2 lanes compared to just have those strength in numbers. You can see stalling out a little bit, now getting some more assistance there on the high side. Will it be the push that they need? That's the number 64 of Charles Velasquez Jr. right there. He backs off big time though. Not sure what happened there. He lost out on what felt like probably about 10 miles an hour in just a blink of an eye, but he gave a bump, he gave a nudge and a rub as they had their way up through 1 and 2. Will that be enough? I don't think it will. Hicksonball still stalled out.
And with Velasquez Jr. backing up right there, backed right up into Delaney. Delaney was making a huge move to the outside, trying to make the charge back to the front. Right now, only 2 cars in that 3rd lane. 2 more cars trying to come in that 3rd lane. Man, this is intense here at the beginning of stage number 2.
It is super, super intense. These racers have decided that now is the time to pounce. Now is the time to turn up the wick a little bit. And look at that, the aggressive dive there off into the turn from the 80 of Larry McDonald. Right behind, though, it is 3 wide pandemonium. The 79 of Dave Hoytsma. The 97, his own son of Lucas Hoytsma, on that middle lane. He's getting the bump right behind from Lars Chenoweth. Look at Chenoweth. He was well farther back. He had to come in to serve a penalty right at the start of this race. He's now there to pounce as well. We are starting to cut some shapes big time up at the front, and you can see now 3 wide with strength on all of the sides.
Velasquez Jr. with another, I don't know if he's just getting on the gas, but he just loses so much momentum at some point in the turn. Gonna make that charge back to that 3rd lane, middle lane falling back just a little bit right here. Hoytsma McDonald though, kind of breaking away. The Hoytsmas, father and son, 1 and 3 at the front.
Some very quick cars up at the front of the field. That bottom lane looking to try and maintain dominance as those 2 high sides starting to have a bit of mutiny. I think if they work together and try and zipper together, they would probably be better off than what they are right now. Instead, they're kind of stalling out that bottom lane, gaining momentum. Lucas Hoytsma in that number 97 car looking to have a good race here at Daytona. He's been a driver that we kept tabs on a lot throughout the earlier stages of this season here on Maconi Entertainment. But he's a driver that we keep tabs on for very good reason. Good racer behind the wheel of these stock cars. And earlier on this season at Talladega, Hoytsma was able to grab his 1 and so far only win thus far this season. Let's see if he can get a second, and let's see if Daytona will be the site for it this time.
Father son side by side now down the backstretch. Lucas and Dave Hoytsma battling for the lead, trying to get the right push at 3rd lane. Still trying to work out there with Hicksonball, doing everything he can, trying to get to the front. Man, he's been out there forever, trying all he can to get that lane to stay organized. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with only 3 cars in that top lane, that they're pretty much running in the top 10.
Yeah, that top 10, you could cover them all with a blanket as they lick the stamp and send it off, heading down to turn number 1. Look at that. That's a 97 of Lucas Hoytsma leading that bottom lane, leading that bottom train. The 79, though, his father, Dave Hoytsma, he's running up at the front still, and right on the top side, as that could have ended in tears. That was Dave Hoytsma with a huge moment, heading down the back straightaway. The 45 of Lars Chenoweth giving him the bump. I'm not sure if that was 100% intentional from Hoytsma to go down in the way that he did, but it worked out, and as a result, he leads this race, leads that bottom lane now, which frankly, up to this point in the race, Jeremy, has been the dominant position.
Look no further though, that 3rd car in the outside lane, 3rd lane out there. That's our driver that's been leading most of the race. That's the number 6 of Delaney. He's trying to get that lane going now. He's been very aggressive trying to get back to the front. It's definitely a driver to watch here tonight. Look at that. 3 wide. Pretty much the beginning of this whole beginning of stage number 2. This Hixenbaugh, oh, finally backs down Delaney into the back bumper. That's going to back him all the way up. He's got back a stone there, still stuck together.
Yeah, those two linked together up against the wall. That is going to be a terrible turn for them. They're going to drop down like a stone still. They're now outside the top 25. Huge moment for them. Tough moment as well. We remain green here in this race with Dave Hoytsma leading the bottom lane. Bryson Exenball, though, as he most usually is up on the top, that very striking number 63 car. There have been many points throughout this season where we think, okay, Exenball, not really seeing that same spark that we usually would from him, and then he goes on to run up at the front and be in contention for the win. He's been sneaky.
One thing I didn't put in a factor here, Ron, is the sun is set in this race. When we began, there was a little bit of heat in the track. I believe that the sun is set. It's giving these drivers more grip to be more aggressive here in stage number 2. You can definitely tell that was a dagger in that third lane. Doesn't look like anybody's interested in firing that up anytime soon. As the Hoytsmas lead that bottom lane, Hixenbaugh and the 45 of Chenoweth behind him, trying to get that second lane up there to the front. You can see Larry McDonald there in 4th. That car at 4th, the number 80 of Larry McDonald. That's a sweet looking paint scheme, in my opinion. That's an awesome looking wrap.
We got some very nice looking cars. It is so tonight again here in the full-length challenge world. We'll be seeing plenty of soda related paint schemes tomorrow night for the full-length cup challenge. And here in Xfinity, we're already starting to see some good ones. I can see a Dr. Pepper car a little bit farther in the back. And should be noted, if any soda companies would like to sponsor us here on Maconi Entertainment, not even sponsors, just give us some money, we would certainly not turn that down one bit. Dave Hoytsma leading over his son Lucas. I mentioned this earlier on, I'll mention it again. Dave Hoytsma, usually don't see him running in a position like this, but here in this plate race, running good, running strong, and running rather well up at the front as well. Pay me even more as a treat with the emoji right there behind. That's fantastic from the production truck.
Watching the 97 of Lucas Hoytsma. He does a really good job of getting just to the right rear and hitting it square on this 97 in front of him. Oh, just gets to the left side that time, of course, as I say it. But down the backstretch the last time, he did a pretty good job. But it's been looking really good. Oh, big push there for Hixenbaugh. Got there from Chenoweth, kind of got him really close to Dave Hoytsma. Everybody's still rolling, still good here, obviously. 7-Eleven machine of the 45 of Chenoweth. Looks like somebody's ready to go 3 wide.
Yeah, I think we're already starting to see some 3-wide action go on here. That is the number 73 of Joseph McWhorter deciding that now is the time to pounce, go for some 3-wide action. We saw him at the epicenter of some 3-wide action a little bit earlier on in this race. It didn't end too well, but it looks like he's got a lot of momentum on that high side. No one really blocking off. Nobody joining him yet. Keyword being yet. I would not be shocked if we see someone try and pick him up, but again, just doesn't have that strength behind. So would need to be a two-pronged offense for something like this to really take place and take off for that number 73 car. We still run strong at this point of the race. Coming up to the halfway mark here, race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series here on Maconi Entertainment. Myself, Ron Mullins, and Jeremy Briggs with you on tonight's broadcast. Dave Hoytsma at the front of this field, though. Hixenball still leading that high side as the brief moment of 3-wide action has officially cooled off. We're still racing hard, just slightly less so as Lois Chenoweth nearly has a hard hit into the outside wall.
Whew. Lots of energy here at the front of the field. Everybody's trying to do their best to basically take the lead. They want a big push there from Lucas. Man, almost got into the side of Hixenbaugh. Man, this is really great racing right here. The strategies are out the window. Everybody's just racing hard, trying to get into the lead. Let's just see what the energy builds up. The 73, as you saw, went 3 wide of McWhorter. That stalled out. He's falling back right there into the 11th slot. Now moving to the bottom lane. Oh, he gets tapped. Oh, he's going to get into the 44. Whew. Everybody kept it going right there.
They kept it going. I'm not even sure if they know how they kept it going, but they did. So we keep it clean. We keep it green at this point of this second stage. The stage break coming up in less than 15 laps time. These racers running to the end. It's been a clean one up to this point here. Stage one, bit on the hectic end. It was clean, and then it wasn't. But here in stage number two, these racers have been very well performing up to this point and very well behaved. They've been earning their good noodle points here in stage two.
Good noodle points. Especially with that 3-ride racing. I mean, that was pretty impressive for as many laps as they did it. Obviously, one driver did have a little bit of misfortune and kind of got sucked into the wall. That was Velasquez Jr. He's bounced back up to 13th in that 64 machine.
Going to see some 3-wide action begin to flare up. I thought I was going to see Lars Chenoweth go for it, but I was like, yeah, no, he decides to stay off that for now. We are starting to see these racers begin to get a bit more impatient. As we get to the end of this stage, we're going to start to see more and more drivers decide to risk it more and more. Sometimes it'll work out well, others it's going to work out horrendously. But hey, that's a double-edged sword that you've got with plate racing. It's either going to go perfectly or it's going to go horrendously. There is no middle ground. You pick one option or the other. Thankfully, though, these racers have been on their good side. They've been on this track's good side as well. Hoytsma still leading over his son right behind in P2, with Bryson Extenball still up at the front of that high side. I think himself and Chenoweth, that is a good winning package.
Chenoweth has been glued to the back bumper of Hexenbaugh. Really good job, too, managing the temperatures. You know, it's one thing these drivers do have to pay attention to when they're locked to bumpers like that lap after lap. It will spike those temperatures. You got to be really paying attention to those numbers, watching your dash, looking for anything flashing. You don't want to end your night here early. Well, when I say early, we're one lap away from halfway. This race is moving.
We are really shifting now, and these cars are hauling the mail. Look at that speedometer, 185 miles an hour, running on board the Lucas Hoytsman. Let's just listen in, because you usually think, oh, it's plate racing. You're just going to spend the whole race flat out. Not true. These racers have to lift, they have to flutter that gas pedal, time the runs out perfectly. All of that magic goes on with that right-hand foot, pressing that accelerator pedal. Let's listen into this car of Hoytsman real quick. The sound of these cars just absolutely fantastic. Even in the pack, even fluttering that gas pedal, you absolutely love to hear it. See, you would usually have to say absolutely love to see it. You can't see sound waves unless you're an X-Men of some kind that I'm not aware of, in which case I'm not really sure what you're doing tuning into this broadcast. But if you're enjoying this broadcast, happy to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. Less than 10 laps away from the end of the stage, Jeremy. We're starting to get intense again.
The energy is definitely building. Feels like those lines are starting to get a little bit tighter. Drivers are trying to make sure they can stay in position that they are for points. And they got those drivers who are trying to get in position to gain some points. We'll see how it plays out here with this second stage winding down very quickly. Lots of green flag action, knock on wood. We'll see if we can take a green to the end of stage number 2. Oh, we got a lap car up here up against the wall. Hopefully the rest of the field sees it.
Yeah, looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good. I think we may have gotten away with one there. Let's see, as still about half that pack has to clear him. I think we have still got a good one. Still keeping it clean. Hixenball leading that pack, but Lars Chenoweth really aggressive with the blocking there. I think Hixenball was a little bit crossed up, trying to keep that car going in a straight line. What spot do you want to be in a situation like this? Do you want to be the pusher, or do you want to be the one getting pushed? I don't think either position is fantastic. If you're the pusher, your engine's going to scream in agony. If you are getting pushed, though, you're going to have to saw at that wheel and handle it like a angry orangutan would hold a Rubik's Cube that's not very happy it can't solve.
You put so much trust in that driver behind you to give you the correct pushes at the right time. Make sure you're squared up on your bumper. Their nose is going to hit you square. It's a very trustworthy game right now at the front, especially the leaders of the pack, to make sure they're getting good contact. One driver, he was disconnected in a lap down at one point in this race. That's Eric Weinland. He's in 11th trying to get stage points.
They're still close up at the front, these racers. I wouldn't necessarily say they're taking it easy, but they're not throwing absolute haymakers at each other, just partial haymakers. I'm not sure what a partial haymaker entails. That sounds like an alcoholic beverage, if I'm being completely honest. Dave Hoytsma still leading the bottom lane, Bryson Hixenball leading the top, and just an endless stream of NASCAR Xfinity cars right in tow. I mean, look at this camera. Look at this camera angle that we've got right now. An endless supply of race cars through the backstretch as they head their way through every single corner. Everybody fluttering that gas pedal with their own different agenda in mind and their own idea to win this race. Only one person can do it, with some spots available as well in those playoffs. That's going to be super good as well. Won't be called Xfinity cars for long. You know, I was going to bring attention to this a little bit later on. I think I'll raise this small little comment before we get to the end of the stage right now. I said on the wonderful site that is Twitter, or whatever the heck they call it nowadays, I said that that would be very interesting if they force the drivers to do what they have to do with Xfinity for O'Reilly Auto Parts. Just like, oh man, it's such a shame that we went off into the turn and the turn was completely covered in oil, much like the parking lot of your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's not wrong. I've been to several of them.
It's like a giant slip and slide.
Especially when it's raining.
Yeah.
It's reading rainbow like.
Protein. Hixenball still leading over Dave Hoyts, but those two swapping spots still.
We can see the 45 offset right now from the 63 of Hixenball. I believe Chenoweth trying to maybe breathe that motor. Trying to get maybe ready for a final push here to the end of this stage. We'll see what happens.
That we most certainly will. Not a lot of time left to go in this second stage. Again, stage break going to come at the end of lap number 60. Not the start of lap 60, the end of lap 60. About 3 laps left to go here at the line right about now. And we're hearing as well a drive through the pit lane for Matthew Boston Wheeler and the 06 car. This is not a penalty. This is a dedicated pit stop from the 06 of Wheeler. That is an odd call there, Jeremy. I'm not really sure, unless he is banking on there being a crash right about now. I am not really sure if that's going to work out for him.
Not sure if he's going to stay on the lead lap, but if he does, this may work out if he's going to stay out at the end of this stage. Right now, when these leaders come across the line, it will close pit road.
as we have some more racers decided to come down pit lane. I think you bring up a good point there, Jeremy, talking about the fact that these competitors are deciding to run that different strategy.
I don't know if he made it on pit road in time.
I think he may have gone away with one there. That, or he somehow dropped. If he got that slowed up, I will eat my shoe. That is insanity. We're not hearing about black flag yet. He may get one once he exits the pits, but I have seen some of those penalties kick in a little bit earlier than that, so he may possibly perhaps have gone away with one there. But regardless, we don't have any pit stops to worry about for the end of the stage. Coming up to the white flag here in stage number 2, and it's going to be Dave Hoytsma taking that stage 2 white flag. Will he grab that checker, though? It's going to be a hornet's nest right behind. Look at Bryson Extenball on the high side. He's got some assistance, though. Hoytsma got some assistance from his own son right behind Extenball. As much as he's been running good, he's got one of the most aggressive pushers in this race up to this point of Lars Chenoweth right behind. Chenoweth in that 45 car started this race up the back, cut his way through the field like a hot knife through butter, and now he is running in a solid top 5 spot. Coming to the end of this, hearing as well about more racers running through 3 wide as they head their way through turn number 3 and 4 for the last time in this race. Look at the lap car. That's Matthew Boston Wheeler. Maybe a choke point for these racers. Maybe music to the ears for Hoytsma. That's Dave Hoytsma winning stage number 2 here tonight.
Wineland, man, I don't know if he ended up getting stage points, but he was chugging on that outside down the backstretch. That was impressive to see to get that third lane working. Great finish end of that stage.
Oh, that it certainly was. So that's going to be Dave Hoytsma winning this stage. Lucas Hoytsma finishes in P2 at the end of it all. A much larger gap compared to what it was at the end of stage number 1, I will tell you that much, but still insanely close. Larry McDonald will finish this race in 3rd with Kyle Amon slotted in 4th. Bryson Extenball in P5, Lars Chenoweth in 6th. It'll be Brendan Hastings in P7, Eric Wineland in 8th. Bryce Renner will be classed in 9th at the end of this stage, with Kevin Zosiak riding at your top 10 at the end of this stage. Looking through, I don't believe we're going to have pit stops this time by, as that pace car is still phasing through some cars and they're stopped on the banking, hoping that they don't pull out. Jeremy, I'll give you the quick opportunity to have a chat with a driver who's retired from this race early, that being the number 57 of Cameron Stone.
Welcome up here to the booth, Cameron. What got you out here early tonight?
I got kind of bored in stage 1, just riding around half throttle, 2 lanes. There's plenty of room out there for 3 cars. So I said, shoot, why not? I got me and Bryson out there on the top side, and trying to take the lead. And the car got a little hot. Spotter was hollering at me on the radio, like, "Hey, oil temp's a little high," and I was just like, "I'll be all right." And then it wasn't. Thing went pop, and John was just stuck behind me there. Glad he didn't try to yank it left, because then we'd probably killed the whole field. But hey, good job on everybody not running into the back of me there. But yeah, just engine expired on me. I guess the Ford engine just can't handle how bad I want to push it.
All right, Cameron, well, we appreciate your time. Sorry that you had an early exit to the night. Appreciate it, like we said, and hopefully we'll see you next week, maybe in the podium finishing position.
Yeah, man, we're going to give it a run. We just gave it hell tonight. We're locked in playoff with a win already, so just coming out here to try to lead some laps and get a win. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, but we'll just get ready for the playoffs coming up in a couple of weeks and see what we can get done.
Before we let you go, you got to get a quick shout-out?
Oh, yeah, shout out to Coors Light. Shout out to my Team Conti crew. Conti setup's pretty good. Bunch of them guys running up front. Shout out to the Hoytsmas, man. That's a really cool story. You got son pushing father to the stage win right there. See what we can get out of those guys in stage 3. I'll be rooting for them, even though I'm not on the team with them. I just think it's pretty cool to see.
Good stuff. We appreciate your time, Mr. Cameron. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
And that right there was Cameron Stone, one of the early retirees from this race. 39 laps left to go tonight here for race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series here at Daytona. Jeremy, it's been two rather different stages. Stage one, really, even that stage felt like it had two distinct halves to it. First half clean, second half a little bit on the uglier end. And then stage two, those racers were rather squeaky clean, even though they started giving each other hell throughout it.
Yeah, there's still a lot of cars on the track, too, in contention to win this thing. I'm counting at least 30 cars still in contention. We'll have to see what happens at the later end of this race, but pace car lights are off. I'm excited to watch stage 3 roll off here. We'll see if anybody at the beginning of the stage wants to be aggressive. We'll see when that pit window opens, if it opens, to get here to the end of the race.
So let's see how it'll work out at the end of this race with the lights out on the pace car. I believe I am going to double check this because this will keep our streak going, of course, as this broadcast is going on tonight here on Maconi Entertainment. The real life NASCAR Xfinity Series is attempting, at the very least, to run down in Daytona as well. However, it being NASCAR and they're wonderful. Smart people behind the scenes there. I'm going to not say anything more because I still want to try and make it as a career as a broadcaster. I feel like slagging NASCAR off may not be good as a guy from the U.S. But I will say that deciding to run the racing at Daytona right towards peak hurricane season, you should not be surprised when the weather affects that race. I think there are only 31 laps into that race in real life as well. I will let you know that an asteroid crashed into Lake Lloyd and has flooded half the back straight away. So as a result, tomorrow's Cup race has actually been canceled as a result of that, and they award the final playoff spots to Chip Quisley and his three cousins. So that's a scene in real life. Instead, we have got give it to Kyle Busch. That's a call from Howie in the production truck. I'm not sure if. I'm not sure if the racing gods would be too happy about the former Candyman getting in there. Now I'm getting some bad flashbacks of playing the old board game Candyland as a kid. I may end up doing that not too far off future. It's been too long. About to get this race up and rolling. It's Andrew Dyson up at the front of the number 41 car, and we are back to green flag running here at Daytona. Dyson leads over the two Hoytsmas, the 97 and the 79. They have been itchy and scratchy thus far in this race. The father-son duo working wonders in this race.
What an awesome story that is. Let's see if they can finish 1-2 in the race. Definitely a story to keep our eyes on. Pretty neat opportunity for father and son to be on the sim rigs at the same time. That's pretty cool. We'll see if they can be there at the end. But right now, at the front, it's Lucas Hoytsma, now the 44 of Tyler Hunter on his back bumper. The Andrew Dyson just behind those two.
And these racers deciding that at this point of this final stage, they want to take it easy for now. Keyword being for it now. Try to get some good fuel numbers so they can make it through to the fall of the checkered without any sort of major headaches. That's a bit of a wiggle from the number 17 of Kyle Amon, leading that high side. And what I think that's a sugar-free Red Bull car, if my eyes and my knowledge does not fail me. Red Bull Zero.
I thought this was supposed to be sodas, not energy drinks, guys. Just kidding, I'm just kidding. As we watch this field. Oh, there's one car 3 wide. That's the 64 of Velasquez Jr. once again, trying to push the 83 of Adam Benefiel to the front. Oh, whoa! 2 cars sideways through the trial when they both saved it. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and that was a hip check there from the number 79 of Dave Hoytsma to the 10 of Edward Scherer Jr. Let's take a look at this moment because this was so close to not even a catastrophe. That would have been just a pure unbridled disaster. Heading off through the quad oval, they keep it clean, they keep it smooth, a little bit of body scraping, and chances are you'd probably be you'd probably have a better chance finding a living T-Rex in those cars than you would clean pants.
definitely the nominee for the save of the race right now. That was wild. Great save there by those drivers. Whew. Watching it live, I thought the field was about to get taken out.
You know, I was fully expecting somebody to end up just nosediving directly into the grass and it just stacking up from there. We have got ourselves some 3-wide action at the front of this field. Kyle Amon in that number 17 car still leading. You've got the number 97 of Lucas Hoytsma, the 5 of Bryce Reiner, and then on that high side is the 83 machine of Adam Benefiel. Those are your current line leaders. As a wreck behind, that's the 79 of Dave Hoytsma, the 78. They're involved in that drama as well. That's Connery Cunningham going off the track in big fashion. The 27 of Tim Phillips with the slide. That will very much so bring at this yellow. I was about to say, don't tell me we keep it green. We do not.
The big one has struck here at Daytona tonight. Trying to get a good look at this replay. Let's see where it started. All of a sudden, there's cars everywhere. Oh man, they just keep wrecking. Oh, it's Delaney involved as well. Dominant driver here tonight.
An unfortunate moment for Delaney. There's been many occasions throughout this season where Jonathan Delaney has been the standout star, has been the most dominant racer in these events, and just hasn't really materialized yet again. I think that'll be the case here tonight as we take a look at another replay of that drama, just squabbling for spots, squabbling for track position, 3-wide action going wrong. That's exactly how that got kick-started.
Mentioned it a few times tonight that the third 3-wide racing is pretty treacherous here at this track. Unfortunately, did not work out once again. We'll take another look at this replay.
Follow Steve Benjamin in that number 53 car in his perspective heading off through it. That's where the drama stacks up, and he did just barely avoid the drama. I think Michael Deitch may have been one of the cars at the epicenter of all that drama in the number 88 machine. We'll say well avoided by Steve Benjamin, because that was so close on several occasions to him just getting absolutely demolished as a result of all that. Let's take a look at this. It was Deitch in that number 88 car, the 80 on the high side, contact being made. That ping pong effect's going to stack them up.
Few drivers doing a good job just sneaking through that, but some drivers not so fortunate. Probably have to come down pit road, get all that damage fixed as much as they can. No fast repairs. At this track, aero is extremely important, so any significant aero damage will definitely take you out of contention to win tonight. Even if you can get it almost all fixed, there's still going to be crinkles in it, and it won't be perfect. But you still got to be in it to win it. You never know what can happen coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, at this point in time, not a lot of racing left to go here. It's still a decent amount, but not nearly as much as we started with. 32 laps now left to go here in this evening's coverage of race number 24 of the full-length Cup Challenge Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. It's still under yellow as we see this field trundle their way around this track. Daytona, rather storied facility, and of course the summer race, it's always been a classic. It used to be on the 4th of July. They moved it into August to be the regular season finale, apart from last year where the Olympics and everything, they had to shuffle it around a little bit. Fun fact for you though, the summer Daytona Cup race was meant to be an IndyCar race back in 1959. However, IndyCars ran a couple of weeks after the first ever Daytona 500, and then they realized how gut-clenchingly horrifying it is running an IndyCar around this track back in 1950s when your cars were made out of plexiglass, the roll hoops were made out of plexiglass, and you were essentially one broken bolt away from having your head land about 5 feet away from where your body was. So they turned it into a NASCAR race, and ever since then, the Firecracker 400 or whatever they call it nowadays, we're just taken off as an event. I always love summer Daytona.
Definitely miss it around the July 4th time, but it still works here in the later part of August. You can see the pace car lights are off. Field is doubling up. Kyle Amon, Adam Benefiel. Our front row, Lucas Hoitzma, Bryce Reiner, and Edward Shearer Jr. are top 5.
So now 31 laps left to go for these racers. It will be 30 at the line, and we got a mix of racers. We got some looking to punch their way into the playoffs, others looking just to get a good result at the end of this regular season. Reminder, folks, the regular season rapidly approaching its conclusion here for the full-length Cup Challenge Xfinity Series. I keep calling it the Cup Challenge. It's the full-length challenge Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series. I keep shoehorning the word cup in there. I should not do that, and I apologize. So I think technically speaking, on technicality, I'm not wrong, because that's what it says in the YouTube YouTube listing, the YouTube stream, the broadcast here on Maconi Entertainment. Even the logo has a double C, so I guess I'm not entirely wrong. I'll know. There's just something odd about saying full-length Cup Challenge Xfinity Series. Maybe I'm just odd, which I definitely am, but that's besides the point.
Well, it is definitely a mouthful of words to say. I definitely could not get it right either. All I know is we're here with a full-length race of Xfinity Series, and these are great drivers that do each and every week that pace cars off.
And we are back to green flag racing here at Daytona. Kyle Amon pulling away from the rest of the field. Adam Benefiel right there to assist him as well. Bryce Reiner and Lucas Hoitzma running right in tow as well. The battling for third going to be on between those two racers. Charles Velasquez Jr. also looking to make up some moves. Look at the 10 of Edward Shearer Jr. He's been a driver who's been very impressive as of recent months here in the Xfinity Series. Let's see what he can do here at Daytona as they're getting a bit more aggressive with those lane swaps, seeing more racers go from the top to the bottom in aggressive fashion. Now we're starting to see people do it the other way around, going from the bottom to the top, swapping sides like you're flipping burgers in the blink of an eye.
Velasquez Jr. trying to make the charge on the top line, getting the push there from the 97 of Lucas Hoitzma. Edward Shearer Jr. joining them in that top lane. 3 of them were side by side for the lead, a few rows deep once again. Laps winding down. Energy is going to ramp up here, Ron.
Yeah, and that it certainly will. We are getting into crunch time, seeing the laps in this race slowly but surely tick away. We're going to start to see these racers get more aggressive, more anti, more racy, start to throw some more aggressive blocks, go for some more aggressive moves, and also get a bit more aggressive in terms of the bumping as well. These racers have kept it calm, kept it cool, kept it clean, and kept it collected up to this point, but there's always so much you can do when battling for a playoff spot, battling for a win, and just trying to impress at the end of this season. There's so much that goes into it. If you win here, not only do you get a checkered flag, not only could you potentially punch your ticket into the playoffs with only a few races left to go in the regular season here in 2025, you also find yourself getting a huge morale booster right before the start of the playoffs here in a couple of weeks' time.
Momentum is key. Oh, we got one in the back.
Phillips. We remain green as it stands right now, as we have now gone the yellow out, right as we cut to the replay, and we take a look at this moment involving Tim Phillips, getting a bump there, a training effect, and not going to work out as well. And look at that odd hit from the 27. Hunter Truell in that 71 car, the other driver involved in that drama.
Just a push through the turn did not work out.
Yeah, not working out there at all. So we are under yellow once again here at Daytona. It's been a hectic start to this second stage, not really settling into a groove. Good for these drivers' fuel numbers, not good for the drivers involved in the crashes. That's absolutely amazing news to the truck driver here at Daytona tonight. But as we are under yellow once again, 27 laps left to go here tonight. I think we're going to step aside, take a quick little commercial break, and we will hear from the wonderful people over at Maconi Setup Shop that make these broadcasts possible.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
And welcome back, everybody, to tonight's coverage of race number 24 of the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series here at Daytona. It's myself, Ron Mullins, and Jeremy Briggs with you on tonight's show with Howie Burrows working on the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler. Well, Jeremy, they were a rather hectic start to this second stage. I gotta ask you, though, if we are going to see these racers maybe decide, you know what, we've gotten the drama out of our system, let's really focus on that finish. Do you think we're going to see that this time of by, or do you have maybe some apparitions about that?
I don't know what they're feeling in the driver's seat. I'm just glad that's why I'm in the broadcast booth. But laps are winding down. I can't believe we're already at 25 laps to go here. It doesn't sound like a lot, but they go by pretty quick when you're farther back in the pack trying to pick off positions one by one. We've seen that third lane work a couple times. It's very tricky to keep it all together. You just need the right drivers up there.
You need the good racers, you need the good machinery, and a lot of good cars up towards the front. And some racers looking to have a good night as well. We touched on this right at the start of the show, and I'll mention it yet again. Some racers right towards that playoff cutoff line trying to punch their way in. Kyle Amon doing himself some very good favors as it stands right now. Entered this race P15 in those points, and as it stands right now, he's going to be on the front row come time for this restart. So Kyle Amon in that Red Bull Zero car, looking not to have a zero. He's looking for one more over. He's looking for a P1 at the end of this race. It's good to try and rally in the points, both only 2 more races left to go after this one here tonight at Daytona. There's only so much you can do. So Amon, he's going to be gunning for one. Charles Velasquez Jr. hasn't visited victory lane this season since Phoenix all the way back in March, so he's looking to rebound. We've got some very interested cases and very interested drivers up in the front of the field as we are back to racing here once again at Daytona International Speedway. And Charles Velasquez Jr. getting a brilliant restart on the high side. First time we've seen the high side really get off to a flyer tonight, Jeremy.
A really good start for that outside line. It was a little bit broken up throughout the rest of the field, so Velasquez Jr. capitalized on that. Finds himself right now in the lead. Benefield right now leading that top lane charge.
Whoa! Lee Jackson, that could have ended in disaster. That was rough. That was super, super rough. They kept it going in a straight line. They didn't wreck, but I'm not sure if they'll want to risk that.
Wow. That was intense. Great
Intense,
save.
most certainly was.
Everybody being heads up right there. Things can happen very, very quickly at these high speeds. Take a quick look at the replay. A lot of momentum, just slightly off on the push. Just kind of sent the driver down to the bottom, below the yellow line. Not a penalty, was sent down there, didn't gain any positions. No harm, no foul, everybody's still moving. 2 by 2, almost, what, 15, 12 rows deep. This is crazy.
You know, it's crazy. It's awesome to see, although it is certainly, there are certain points in time. I'd say this with let me try this one again. I say this with respect to these racers here in this series. Some of the moves that these racers pull on them, like they have no self-preservation skills. They will go for the moves to give us a good show to talk about, even if it risks their own safety in one of these races in the process. As that's Joseph McWhorter, that number 73 car. If there is an award for anybody who's been the gambler up to this point here tonight, it's probably going to be that number 73 car. He has been really, really aggressive in terms of pulling out, making some moves. He's made some contact. He's had his sideways snaps. Still running, though, as it stands at the present moment, firmly inside the top 15.
Thought a couple cars were going to get that third lane rolling. They're trying. I believe that is the 73 of McWhorter and the 45 on his back bumper of Chenoweth. Here they come. The Grasher's turned up. We're coming to 20 laps to go next time by.
20 more laps of racing action here at Daytona, and it's 3 wide racing at the front of this field as they head their way down the back straightaway for just one more time in this race. Benefield and Charles Velasquez Jr., the Pied Pipers of the middle and the bottom lanes respectively. That's 73 of McWhorter. He's there to pass as well. Last time we were at a 2.5 mile track outside of Indy, it was at Pocono, and that right there was a race that Joseph McWhorter was able to grab his first win this season. If anyone may be able to do it, keep an eye on that number 73 car. They have got some momentum as they're wrecking behind.
Oh man, racing was just about to get turned up right there. Looks like further into the back of the pack here. Oh, just came up the track and there was somebody. There was Delaney getting tagged right there. Oh, creamed right there.
Take a look at Cody Warner's perspective and all this as well in the number 72 car. Yeah, the contact being made, the 79 into the 6, and then the 37 and the 72. Warner getting caught up in all that, as well as Dave Hoytsma. Things were looking so great for him in the early stages. I'm going to chalk this up to myself as a commentator, Shanks, because as soon as I talked about the great run and great performance that he was having here tonight, that's when the falling anvils came out. They came out with a vengeance. They come out in full force for the 79. Unfortunately, that will just about do it for him here in this race. 19 laps now left to go. We're past the 20 mark, and we are under yellow once again. We thought that the second half of stage 1 was a hectic one. No, this final stage has been the one that has not shown any mercy to these racers.
Crazy part about this, all is hectic, and we find one of the familiar faces at the front, Adam Benefield. So he's done a great job of ditching and diving all the chaos throughout the field tonight. What more chaos is going to be left in the docket? A lot of racing here, and we'll probably go green with about close to 15 to go, maybe 16 laps to go. Drivers are going to be making some pretty crazy moves. I think we're good on fuel too. I don't think there's any fuel strategy, pit strategy, nothing. I think it's just go hard and race.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, whether or not we were going to see pit stops between now and the fall of the checkered flag, but no, you're exactly right there, Jeremy. With the amount of yellows we've had up to this point in the race, these racers would have to be gunning for it to try and run out of gas. And I'm not a racer. I just talk about racers. I don't feel like running out of gas intentionally is a winning strategy, unless you're trying to win the running out of gas challenge, in which, congratulations, you win 1,000,000 jelly beans.
In one of my league races just a few years ago, I didn't even know I was on some fuel strategy. I ended up winning the race. I was just pitting when I was getting close to running out of fuel, and it worked out great for me. It was one of the last ones I've gotten in a while, and just funny how it all panned out. I didn't even have enough fuel to do a burnout. I was at Dover in the Cup cars, and didn't even know I was in the lead until I looked up, and I was like, "Oh, all right." Fuel savings is the name of the game today, and no fuel savings here though. Everybody's just gunning it. We'll see how it pans out. This is going to be an exciting finish.
Yes, that it certainly will. It's been a hectic race up to this point. These racers have given us just about every single thing to talk about, whether it be some calm, cool, and collected fuel-saving running, whether or not it may be racers just throwing missiles at each other to seeing who can get hit the quickest and who can get hit the worst. This race has had a lot. It's had a lot of racing up to it. We've had a lot of racing thus far tonight, and still getting to the end of it, the lights out on that iRacing pace car. Hopefully next time by, we'll be able to have the lights out on the pace cars. We see them heading out of turn number 3 and 4. Right now, we will keep an eye. I will sing a little Irish fight song before we head off in there. And for context, it's not an Irish fight song. That's just what I sing to myself whenever I am bored out of my mind. Will we see the lights go out on that pace car? Survey says we will. About to get up and rolling here, Jeremy. It's been a very hectic series of restarts. The green yellow cycle has really been prevalent over the past handful of laps.
Watch this all pan out. We're watching that 45 of Chenoweth. He was towards the front of the field at the beginning of the race, fell back, now making a charge to the front. Lucas Hoytsma, he was up towards the front. But Adam Benefield, one of the dominant drivers throughout the whole season, showing us exactly why he's one of those drivers.
Flexing his muscles. That's what he's doing. He's flexing his muscles, saying, hey, look, this is what I can do behind the wheel of these Indy Xfinity cars. I nearly said Indy Lights cars. You can tell that I was reading the patch notes a heck of a lot today. You can definitely tell that much is true. But no, here in these Xfinity cars, Adam Benefield been a very good driver to keep tabs on. The 4-win tally that he has really doesn't do it justice because he's put together a rather fantastic season, frankly. He's gotten, as I said, 4 wins. He's gotten another slew of some very good results throughout the season as well. And even in the races where he hasn't been too great in terms of the result on paper, there's still been something coming out of that 83 car more often than not. He's been there. He's been a consistent force, and let's see if he can turn up the wick right at the right time, right towards the end of this regular season, and hit those playoffs with as much momentum as you possibly can. And speaking of momentum, that pace car gonna bring its momentum down pit lane. The quick turns probably enough to snap the neck of the person behind the wheel of that car as we're back to racing once again at Daytona with Adam Benefield up in the front. Joseph McWhorter slotted in P2 with Charles Velasquez Jr. riding at the podium as it stands a very early on into this restart.
Almost too big of a lead right now for the 83 of Adam Benefield. Is going to have some big push right here from the 17 of Kyle Amon. Bottom line, trying to get reorganized right here down the backstretch, trying to keep the momentum up. Almost up to 180 miles an hour. Once we get the speed, it's about 190. Still gaining momentum down the backstretch. 73 of Joseph McWhorter. Fall back just a little bit as the help gets back to him. Bottom line right now, in the lead here, coming to these final laps.
And look at Lars Chenoweth on the high side, that number 45 car trying to make that high side work. I just don't think I've seen anything at all from that high side all throughout tonight. I've seen small little sparkles, but that's just about it. It's basically like 1 month deciding to throw a can of biodegradable glitter into your toilet, and then you flush it about 50 million times, and then you can still see a quick little glitter every now and then.
That's exactly what this 45 machine is doing of Chenoweth. Oh, as he gets a little bit of contact there from the 5 of Rayner. It's going to kill his momentum, tries to sneak right there into Hixenbaugh. Hixenbaugh does a good job of lifting to try to let him in. We'll see if Chenoweth goes back to that 3rd lane, trying to get somebody to come to a 3rd lane with him.
I just saw some swapperoos a little bit farther behind. Some racers beginning to play scab with the lane. There's no real loyalty, so to speak. One thing that you do not get when you run a stock car at Daytona, well, you don't get 15. Oh, big one! They wreck it big time, and that is a huge one as they head their way down the backstretch. That's a 10. You can see the 07 of Daniel Llewellyn not going to be able to get those back-to-back Daytona wins. A 73 involved in that moment as well. I think the car that may have potentially started all that was a 45 of Lars Chenoweth. We'll take a look at a replay. That may have been what kick-started it all there.
Another big wreck late in the race. The start looks like it started just in front of him.
Take a look at another perspective of this time from the air. The Maconi Entertainment helicopter here to bring all of the action to life, all of the action coming to you from a camera in the sky. And let's see the drama that goes on right in front. Yeah, that right there, unfortunately, I will apologize to the 45 of Lars Chenoweth. Preemptively called that as being his incident, and that was not. I apologize for that. It was an incident a little bit farther up the road. Fortunate for him to pick up a piece of that drama as well. Not ideal at all. It really all started with another racer who's been very aggressive tonight, the 73 of Joseph McWhorter. He's not really made any friends thus far tonight.
Looks like a little tap from behind from the 64 of Velasquez Jr. That momentum was just a little bit too much.
A little bit too much momentum, but that will bring out another yellow here. It's the biggest one we've had thus far here tonight. And let's see this from the fixed camera. The swirling goes on, and from there it just snowballs out of control. Many a racer collected in this late race bit of drama here at Daytona for race number 24 of the full-length Challenge Xfinity Series. It was hectic at times. It was clean at times. Stage 2, on the other hand, has been anything but clean. These racers have been throwing haymakers at each other all night long, but it's really started to get cranked up to 11 at the end of this race.
Several drivers on pit road getting service to their vehicles, getting things repaired to try to just finish this out. Up front though, Kyle Amon, Adam Benefield, Lucas Hoitzma, Raymond Root, Larry McDonald, our top 5, Brandon Hastings, Brayson Hixenbaugh, Matthew Boston Wheeler, Kevin Zosiak, and Andrew Dyson round out our top 10. Dustin Hall, just outside the top 10, been kind of quiet this evening. Just outside the top 10 though at this time.
Yeah, so now we talked about this a little bit earlier on in the show, how we were certainly in crunch time. We are most definitely in crunch time now. There can be no mistakes made about it. We are getting into the tough point of the race. We're also getting to that point where we're going to start to see these races become more and more experimental with how they want to tackle this track. If it goes well, it goes well. If it goes poorly, they're going to leave this race smelling like a bucket of horse manure instead of smelling like a bed of roses. You just can't really tell unless you put the rubber to the road.
Where the rubber meets the road.
So yeah, I would try and figure out what reference that was, but I'm not sure if I can.
I was just making a jingle.
It's a very nice jingle, though, I gotta say. I figured that was one from the history books. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for
honestly,
that,
it sounded pretty good for Goodyear.
Yeah.
If they need a jingle guy, just let me know.
Hey, Goodyear, if you're tuning in, we got your man right here on this broadcast. Honestly, I would tune into that. It's see, either they go down that route or they go down the like self-deprecating humor route and just have the clip of Tony Stewart saying that the Goodyear's Atlanta in like 2008 were the most pathetic racing tire he had ever been on. Pretty sure he also said that, you know what, Hoosier, anybody could be better at this. Just get them out of racing, period. I remember being like, you know what? I can respect Tony for this.
Field 2x2 down the back stretch with those pace car lights off. Coming out, we'll have 10 laps to go when we take the green flag. 10 lap shootout.
And now, will it be a green 10-lap checkered shootout? Based off the drama we've seen up to this point, I would have my doubts, if I'm being completely honest with you, Jeremy.
Gotta have some help. Hope, excuse me.
We see the field trundle their way through 3 and 4, listening to the slightly less ominous rumble of these cars under yellow flag conditions. Won't have to bear witness to it for too much longer. Gonna be 10 laps left to go here. 25 miles for these competitors that lie ahead. Gonna be a tough end to this race. Gonna be action-packed as well. And delighted to have all of you here at Maconi Entertainment tonight as we're back to racing at Daytona. Kyle Amon immediately gonna jump in front of Adam Benefield, slot in second. Lucas Hoitzma, Raymond Root, and Larry McDonald round out your top 5. That 80 car of Larry McDonald, we haven't really been able to discredit him at all throughout this race. I think that could be both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because he's certainly getting his airtime. It's a curse, though, as well, because I haven't really seen anything from that car that would tell me that he's going to win the race either, as we see a hood just randomly fly off a race car.
The hood has exited the chat. as the 97 of Lucas Hoitzma trying to get some momentum on this top lane now, side by side. Oh, Adam Benefield jumps up into the top lane. Oh, there's going to be contact there in the second row. Everybody continues on, though.
That could have been disaster as they had their way down into the tri-oval. Kyle Amon, Adam Benefield throwing haymakers at each other. Larry McDonald and Lucas Hoisma, the rear gunners of those front two. Bit of a gap flaring up, though, between your as it stands right now, P2 runner of Larry McDonald. He's second of the cars on the bottom lane, and then you have to go back to Hixenball. And in that small little window, there's a brief gap there. As look at Lars Chenoweth running the high side. He's still trying to make that work on the number 45 car. He hasn't really gotten the strength in numbers, but now as we get to the end of this race, some of these racers who have spent their entire evening in a pack may be a little bit disgruntled and may potentially give it a once-over.
We'll see if anybody decides to jump into that third lane with him. It can work. You just need the right amount of cars up there with the laps winding down. You ain't going to win if you're all the way back in the back. Somebody's got to try something different here. Up front, though, there's still 2x2 for the lead.
Oh boy, I thought I was going to see some extra screwy stuff. They had their way down the back straightaway, off into 3 and 4. Eamon Benefield, top of the cars in either of their lane. Adam Benefield looking to come into victory lane at this point of the championship. I mentioned this a little bit earlier on this broadcast here on Maconi Entertainment tonight. The last time we saw Adam Benefield visit victory lane was at Iowa Speedway quite a couple of weeks ago. Daytona, not necessarily as bumpy as Iowa, not necessarily as slow as Iowa, not necessarily as intimidating either. As look at that, Chenoweth just able to keep that momentum rolling. I'm not sure whether he has nitrous in that car or what, but Lars Chenoweth soon to give a headache for these racers up the front.
Slingshot was engaged. I feel like you get a couple more cars up there. That third lane can really work. There's only 2 cars up there have pretty much cracked themselves in the top 10.
Yeah, now less than 10 laps left to go. 7 laps left to go here. Coming to 6 at the line as holy cow, that could have ended in disaster. Jumping up is Raymond Root in front of the 45 of Lars Chenoweth. That top side peaking at the right time. 6 laps left to go. And that is not a lot of distance at all. Who is going to be able to mount the challenge? Who's going to have the strength in numbers, the strength in their driving, and the confidence in their driving as well to really decide to risk it? As, oh, look at them squabble up big time. They're wrecking behind. I got to imagine they're wrecking behind. That was mega sideways from some of those cars right behind. You can see they are scattered up big time. And I don't believe, we're under yellow again.
There's that yellow you said that would potentially come out here in these final few laps. Let's see what happened here on the Maconi Entertainment replay. Looking at the 44 of Tyler Hunter. Just up in front of him, you see the cars get all kind of bound up, and oh, looks like the car in the inside continued to get pushed right into him as they were checking up. Kind of almost like an innocent bystander there.
Take a look at another perspective of all this drama. Heading off through 1 and 2. Still clean. It's around about now where things start to get a little bit ugly. Right behind you, sideways snaps from all of those racers. That's a problem here. It's not usually the front pack where the big bits of drama go on. It's the mid pack where even if you're running on the bottom lane, you are not going to have a good day if there's a 15 car pileup right in front. Still under this yellow flag period, whittling the laps away. We're getting close to green-white checkered territory as well once we get this race up and rolling and ready to rock for one final time potentially here. And I'm looking back now. I had to look back on this to see what the other info screen was. I will read this out verbatim. Is Chenoweth did it, the new Ericsson hit us? See, these are the interesting questions that were raised by Howie on the production truck.
We're going to go around one more time. Might be a natural green-white checkered.
I think so. I think you may be correct there, Jeremy. As we get up to it, if this is natural green-white checker territory, we won't have to worry about going into full green-white checker territory. We do have some of those allotted to us here in the Friday Night Lights Xfinity Series here at Daytona. Part of us was expecting to potentially go without using up other parts of our brain, though on the other hand, we're thinking about it. I'm looking through as well in the other sim sessions. Would you like to know how many green-white checkers we are allotted here tonight, Jeremy?
Let me know.
15.
15.
So, yeah, nothing more, nothing less, just 15. If we manage to burn through 15 green-white checkers, first off, I feel like I'd probably be able to buy a small country because I think we'd be on the air until about 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I also would genuinely be impressed with the ability to have 50. I remember, I can't remember if it was a truck series a couple of years ago that was running here for their fall race. I think there was like, I forget how many. It felt like there were 10 overtime attempts. I think that, like, from the last yellow in regulation coming out through to the actual end of the race, it was like an added hour and a half. I also should have probably made a reference to last year's Nashville Cup race, which has a bit more staying power than that random truck race I mentioned a couple of moments ago. But the lights are out on the pace car. We're going to be going into natural green-white checker territory here, Jeremy, with a race win still holding in the balance.
A race win for quite a few drivers. Right at the tip of their nose of the race car. It can happen. A lot of these drivers trying to get themselves into the playoffs. Looking at the field right now, 24 cars still on the lead lap. 24 cars with an opportunity to win this thing.
And, you know, I have one hope, and my hope is that this will be a clean end to this race for two reasons. One, from a sporting perspective, it's good to have a clean bare-knuckle fist fight at the end of this race. That may be a slight oxymoron there. I also ran out of water probably about 45 minutes ago. I don't know why I'm drinking like a camel today, but I am, and as a result of that, I'm running with dry mouth right towards the end of this race. Speaking of dry, haven't had to worry about fuel throughout this final stage here, so clearly with the green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, people have been able to save a decent amount of fuel, which is going to remove at least one headache from an overall sea of them.
Yep. No strategies here. The only strategy you got is going forward. Let's see who comes out in front.
Let's see, indeed, as that pace car has made the turn to come down pit lane. It's Raymond Root and Lars Chenoweth at the front. We're back racing here at Daytona for potentially the final time. Raymond Root in the 91 car, pulling out that gap, adding his way down into 1 and 2. You look right behind Lars Chenoweth. Oh, he got a big block put on him by Kyle Amon. Amon looking to punch his way into the playoffs. Doesn't want to have to worry about points for the final 2 weeks of the season. He wants to go out there, grab that WSA you very much. I'll take that playoff berth, and I'll take the prizes that come along with it. But outside of that, I'm going to let all of you racers battle for your own spots. I'll be good. So that may end up being what we've got going on for Eamon, your current race leader, as they head their way through 3 and 4 for the final time in this race, looking moderately clean throughout the entirety of the field. That is not a wreck. That's just a huge checkup of cars. The white flag will be in the air. One more lap of racing action, and it's Kyle Eamon leading over Lars Chenoweth, but here comes Adam Benefiel. He's got the assistance from Lucas Hoytma. That's now the fight to keep our eyes on. They're squirrely, they're wiggling as they head their way down into turns number 1 and 2. Eamon still holds on to it, but this battle right to the end, still going to be intense, still going to be fiery. My eyes on the 70 and the 45. Here comes the 45 of Chenoweth. He breaks away. He says, thank you very much. I'm going to hold off on that spot. The 83. Oh, the 17 gets a big wiggle. The 81 gets to the back bumper of him. He nearly spun him off into the infield. The 45, he's back in that middle. Big squirrely moment. The 17, yabba gabba damn it, they wrecked big time. The 83, that's a huge one coming out of turn number 4. And in all the drama and the smoke and the mirrors and a horrendous impact for the 97, they wreck across the line. Chenoweth gonna win it here at Daytona as a horrendous crash takes place right behind.
Wow. First things first, what a call to the finish, Ron. What a race to the finish by these drivers. You knew it was going to be crazy. That's all Daytona is. And guess who comes out on top was Lars Chenoweth, our winner here at Daytona.
It hurts my voice to do that in the American accent for so long. Let's take a look at this replay. That was insanity. There was no other way to describe it. That was pure unbridled madness. Some drivers are probably going to be, for lack of a better term, pissed at each other, and I can't necessarily fault them. You could see that. I want, oh my goodness gracious. I don't think a single, oh my good golly gee willikers. I think everybody piled into that crash, with the exception of maybe Chenoweth, and everybody who piled in had a bigger impact than the one that came before. That was basically, can you do this, in crash form. Anything you can crash, I can crash better. I can crash anything better than you. I can win anything better than the rest of the field, though, is going to be the case of the number 45 of Lars Chenoweth, who wins this race in dramatic fashion. You know, we thought that it was going to be a dramatic run to the end. It certainly was set up to be that way. But, Jeremy, I don't think even in our wildest imaginations we could have come up with that idea if we gave ourselves 1,000 opportunities to do so. Everybody wrecking as a 45 just drives off into the sunset and brings that number 45 7-Eleven car into victory lane. As we continue to see that number 45 machine of Lars Chenoweth burn it down, that Toyota Supra, bringing it to victory lane at the end of this race. We'll touch on these results. Lars Chenoweth wins over Brendan Hastings in P2, Raymond Root in 3rd, Larry McDonald in 4th, Adam Benefield's class in P5, Eddie Rose in 6th, Eric Wineland in 7th, Blake Kluot will finish this race in P8. Didn't really talk about him too much throughout that race. Walks away with the top 10. Charles Velasquez Jr. in 9th, with Kirk Mills rounding out your top 10. Good points day for the driver of the number 69 car, and I'm sure he will be over the moon about that, Jeremy. Have we lost Jeremy? Hello, Mr. Briggs.
No, I just got to press that unmute button there. Speaking of Jeremy's, Jeremy Clapper Newell. Jeremy Clapper Newell there in 11th, Bryce Renier in 12th. 13th goes to Bryson Hicksonbaugh. 14th, Kyle Eamon. 15th, Lucas Hoytsman. 16th, Andrew Dyson. 17th, Matthew Boston Wheeler. You can see a lot of these drivers disqualified here at the end of the race, I would assume, for too many X's. Joseph McWhorter, 18th. 19th, Steve Benjamin. And 20th goes to Kevin Zozak.
And looking right behind, running at your field with some of the other racers, all running into some difficulties. Tyler W. Hunter, Cody Warner, Michael Deach, Dustin Hall, Edward Sherrod Jr., Daniel Wallen, Tim Phillips, Cody Bird, Noah Woods in 29th. Jim Shoefield runs out your top 30. And then looking through the final few races we have classified is Jonathan Delaney, Dave Hoisma, Austin Evie, Mason Lowry, Connery Cunningham, Hunter Truel, Cameron Stone, and Rory Collins rounding at your cars class at the end of this race. A racing night full of drama, full of storylines, and what a finish there at the end. You know, if anybody had a catbird seat to that finish outside of us in the broadcast booth, it was one viewer. It was one specific viewer, that being my father, who heard the fact that I was struggling here, not having any water left. He brought me up a glass as I was calling that finish. My vocal cords are in agony. My throat is probably going to be feeling it in the morning, but I do have myself a glass of water, and he got to hear me scream. My window's also open in my broadcast booth as well, so I'm not sure exactly how my neighbors are going to be happy about that taking place at 10:30. But, you know, that's none of my business, so that is not my issue to be had. But Jeremy, we have some drivers looking to have a chat with us. I'll let you get the interviews kick-started here by having a chat with our P3 finisher at the end of this race. Trying to get the numbers up here real quick so I can drag these drivers in. I'll start off with Raymond Root, the driver of the number 91, and our P3 finisher at the end of this race.
We're up here and in the booth with Raymond Root. The number 91 machine started in 11th position, ended up leading 4 laps tonight. Unfortunately, you didn't lead the lap that mattered the most. Raymond, man, walk us through your night.
It was a wild one. We started 11th and slowly started working our way to the back because we didn't really need stage points. And then got involved in a wreck and had the hood flying off of it. And luckily didn't have any major damage. Got it all fixed and worked our way through stage 2, back up through the field, and somehow managed to finish 3rd.
C's seemed like they parted the ways just right for you there, coming to the checker. That was definitely a wild finish. You had a good night, I guess you could say. Like I said, you were trying to do a little bit of stretch there, a little bit of incident, but you come home in 3rd position. Who do you have to thank for getting you here tonight?
I really got to thank all the guys at Precision Setups.gg for an amazing Toyota Supra, and I got to thank Z for spotting me on the last 2 laps, and DJ for building this wonderful race car, and all the guys that help out on the team.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Raymond. Hopefully we'll speak to you next time here at the next week.
Thank you.
And that right there was Raymond Root, your P3 finisher at the end of this race. I'm going to drag in to have a quick little chat. The drive the number 81 car and our P2 finisher at the end of this race, Brandon Hastings, now joining us here in the broadcast booth. Brandon, welcome in. P2 at the end of this race. It's a wild finish. Chaos coming to the line. But how was this race here at Daytona?
Let's see. It's pretty nerve-wracking. Sorry, I haven't done one of these in a while. Pretty nerve-wracking for me to say the least. But it's easy to do when you go really kind of go in there with no expectations and just do the best you can with what you got.
And you did pretty well here in this race, walking away with a P2, and don't worry about potentially stumbling over your words a little bit in this interview. I do that, and this is my job, so that should make you feel 100 times better. But Brandon, I want to ask you about the end of that race, because you can ask my vocal cords, which are going to be in agony come time for tomorrow morning having to call that finish. How was it from your perspective behind the wheel? Because it had to have been like driving through the parking lot of a Walmart on Black Friday.
You're going to find this interesting, but I can't really, you can't see 2, 3, 4 cars ahead of you. So It was actually like reading the back of a book, a summary of a book instead. And it took me escaping and watching the entire replay to realize just how hectic it was. Really, it was pretty simplistic as long as I kind of focused right in front of me and didn't pay attention to anyone else.
You just stay focused on your own way, figure out the way through the crash, and not have any sort of target fixation. Works out pretty well at the end of this for you. Walking with a P2 and keeping some good momentum rolling as we swap out the chaos on the high banks for the peaceful stillness up there in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, in 1 week's time. Brandon, what are your thoughts heading off there?
I don't have too many thoughts. I'll be out of town for that race, so we'll just wish the best of luck for the entire field and go get them.
Fair enough. Are you going to be on vacation next week, or?
I travel for work.
Gotcha. I will wish you safe and happy travels for that race, and I will wish you nothing but the best when you come back to the series in the not too far off future. Brandon, we'll let you give thanks or shout outs though before we let you go.
Thank the Team Conti crew, Ottinger for the nice B car setup, Team Conti, Sim Performance, and the whole crew that was sitting down there: Dustin Hall, Adam Benefield, Eddie Rose, the whole 9 yards.
There we go, man. Hey, thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Well done on the P2, and looking forward to seeing you out there on the racetrack, wherever it is in the not too far off future, man. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the good result here tonight.
Thank you, sir. You have a nice night.
Yep, you as well. That right there was the number 81 of Brandon Hastings, our P2 Fisher at the end of this race. And Jeremy, I will let you do the honors of having a chat with our race winner, the number 45 of Lars Chenoweth.
Yes, we are standing by with tonight's winner, Lars Chenoweth, in that number 45 711 machine. Man, you started 19th. You led one lap, the most important lap. Walk us through your night. We saw you multiple times just getting to that third lane and just making it work. What was it about that third lane that was just suiting your car?
Yeah, I mean, it's Daytona. You can't really get to the front that easy, so most of like the last stage there, last 20 laps, my whole goal was to just get to the third lane and hope somebody goes with me so I can push them up to the front, and it did work eventually. Raymond Root, shout out to him. He helped me win that. I wouldn't have gotten to the front without him. And then, yeah, I mean, it just kind of gambled, was going to the third lane every chance I got, and it worked out.
Well, aggressiveness definitely worked out tonight. You find yourself in the winner's circle. Congratulations on that. What does it mean to win here in this league?
I mean, it's pretty important. I haven't won a broadcasted race in quite forever. Actually, I think this is my first time, and I'm excited to be winning here. Maybe I'll win some more in the future. I'm excited.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on your win tonight. And before we let you go, you got to give a shout out to anybody who helped you get here tonight.
Yeah, shout out to all of GeoCal Motorsports. They helped me get setups and stuff. Shout out to Raymond Root, obviously. He helped me in that. Couldn't have done it if he didn't come up and help me push. And yeah, thank you.
Congratulations on your win. Hopefully we'll speak to you in the far not too often future.
And that right there was your race winner, Lars Chenoweth, here in the broadcast booth. Nice to have a chat with our podium finishers at the end of this race here at Daytona. Jeremy, well, it was a slow burner, and then the entire world burned as Lars Chenoweth was able to run away with the win in one of the most dramatic finishes I've ever gotten the opportunity to call in my life. Final thoughts before we look ahead to next week's race at Portland.
Exciting going to be at Portland. See how these drivers go from a road course, super speedway, back to a road course. But I'm excited we'll be here. And it's going to be another great racing night here on the FLCC Friday Night Lights League.
Of course, in the FLCC, the full-length Cup Challenge coming up tomorrow night, it'll be Kirk Mills and Ewan O'Leary on the call for that race. The regular season finale with some playoff spots on the line and certainly a lot of tension in the air for that race coming up. That's just one race from the absolutely fantastic slot of races to look forward to over the next couple of days here on Maconi Entertainment. Of course, you'll be able to see that FLCC season finale tomorrow night here, same time, same place, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday night. Door to Door Sim Racing League going to be broadcasting their race at Daytona. That'll be their regular season finale as well. That'll be at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. We'll be bringing you, as per usual, the Strength of Field race for the Formula 1600s, which is, of course, is Howie's show. That'll be at Sonoma this upcoming week, and hopefully you'll be able to tune into that show this upcoming Monday. That starts at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. The Racers Elite Truck League also going to be running one their later rounds of the championship. The Chicago Street Course will play host to their upcoming race this upcoming Tuesday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully all of you will be able to tune into the action. Of course, next time you'll be able to see this series will be in 1 week's time here on Maconi Entertainment when we pack up for the Pacific Northwest and head our way off to Portland International Raceway for one last road course before we head our way off into the playoffs. A quick little shout out as well going out, of course, to the drivers here in this series, but also to the bag of Ricola cough drops that will certainly be my best friend after I wrap up the show in a couple of moments' time. But for myself, Ron Mons, Jeremy Briggs joining me in the broadcast booth, and Howie Burrows doing a wonderful job working on the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler, I say thank you all so very much for tuning into this broadcast here on Maconi Entertainment tonight, and we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.